החידה שעברת זה מה שאמרת לכתוב את זה, הוא כתב את זה. הוא כתב את זה.
זה טוב, זה אמת גם.
מה?
חידוש נפלא.
שזה ראיה לרמה.
זה ראוי לזיכרון לדוירוס.
הפוחד יצא שתיקותיך, תאמר שתיק אחד יצא לתרוך, בוא נשאיר מצליח אותה, פחד אחד משהו.
טוב.
הסכמת שלכתוב את זה. לפחות שתיקותיך טוב.
מקום מאוד. מציע.
מה?
חידוש הוא מציע.
חידוש?
הוא מציע, מצאת פה משהו שאף אחד לא דיבר עליו כמו זה. הוא משנוי נפלא.
חמש דקות בסביבת השקות. הוא סיכם את זה. אז המקרה החמישי זה סוגיה שלנו. דרגה חמישית, סוגיה שלנו. מה? עד שלי?
היה פה.
כן, איפה עכשיו?
היה לפני חצי שעה היום. לפני 40 דקות, כמעט שעה. 8:15 היה, לפני אפילו יותר משעה. בעזרת השם, אוקיי.
רגע, היית את זה משהו קטן שזה?
כן, ראיתי.
זה היה בדיריס, אבל המקרה שם זה הדרגה הרביעית, חמישית. אז הייתי רבונו, השפות בעיקר המיתה זה הייתי רבונו. אז כי מי זה שומר? אחת על סויק אומר. נקראת אחת על סויק.
Morning. What are we going to look at today? I've been waiting since 8:30.
Okay, very good. We now learning the Gemara. Meisvei. Started yesterday Chassam Sofer. Then we'll learn the Gemara. Meisvei.
Eidadaf. Lamed.
32a.
Gotcha. Meisvei.
Adardurin v'arokavot.
For sure.
Dardurin is small little vessels of clay, and rokavot is vessels made out of leather. Dardurin is clay, rokavot is leather. Skin, leather. No. Leganim ktanim, I think. It's small kadim, yes. הדרדורים והרכבות של גויים. They belong to גויים. של ישראל קונוס, יין של ישראל קונוס, בהם. If a Jew has wine gathered in them, also b'shti, not to drink. Umuto ma'ano, you're allowed to have pleasure from it. Eid Shimon ben Gudo lifnei Blosh Rab Gamliel. Shimon ben Gudo gave a testimony in front of the son of Rab Gamliel. Al Rabin and his father Rab Gamliel, sheshoso mimenu ba'akot, that he drank from dardurin or kavod of goyim. He drank the Jewish wine that was in them. Velo oidu loy. The children of Rab Gamliel and Rabbi Shimon and the children of Gamliel didn't admit to the testimony of Shimon ben Guda. They didn't accept that story. Right? They didn't accept the story. Next halach in the Braisa. Noidoy shel goy. If I have a nod. Nod means it's a bottle made out of leather. You saw people carry wine and water in the desert in a leather bottle. That's called a nod. Noidoy shel goy. Bottles of leather, containers of water of leather, made out of leather, skin, shall goyim belongs to goyim. What does it mean shall goyim? Means goyim used it before. They had wine in it, have different things, even yain nesa. Rab Shimon Gamliel says, Mishum Rabbi Yoshua ben Kapusoy. The name of Yoshua ben Kapusoy. Also lasos mehem shatichim. You're not allowed to make from those skin leather bottles. You cannot make from that skin, from that leather, you cannot make a mat. Also, lasos mehen shatichin lechamoyim. You're not allowed to do from them mats for donkeys. So the Gemara asks, what do we see from there? Here, behold, what do we have? He wants the establishment of the wine inside the bottles, skin bottles or leather bottles. He wants the establishment them in order to keep them, to use them for mats. And yet it says, Victonida also is written as prohibit. So what do we see from that? We see a case, we have leather bottles together that's soaked with wine, yain nesech. You'll have to use it for something else, or mats. So although when I use it for mats, I want the establishment of the wine. I want the establishment of the wine. And I want the establishment of the wine, not for the sake of the wine, for the sake of the leather to make mats out of it. And when I'm using it for mats, I'm not destroying the wine that's soaked in the leather and those bottles. And it says it's also. So that's a question to the opinion that holds, if I want the establishment of it through something else, that holds as mutter. Here we see from the Mishnah, from the statement of Shimon Gamliel and Rabbi Yoshua ben Kuvasoi, that you're not allowed to do so. The Gemara answers it with a question. But the time, according to you, Marsha is that greatest one for the time. Yeah. You have Marsha inside. Let's see. I thought the Marshal does not go as the last part. Toises doesn't go as the last part. Let's see. There's a star there. It says here in the sign Masos Hashas, V'letaimich, midive toises nire de la gorsole. From the Gemara, toises is mashma did not goyres it. Because toises, how do we see from toises they're not goyres it? Because toises has a whole nidoin subject matter about does kankani mutar or not. And here the Gemara speaks about kankani should be mutar. And the shaila is it the goyres the last two lines about kankani, but if you're not goyres, it means you're not mentioning kankani. They already mentioned before kankani. Must be that you're not goyres it. That's what he sees. That's what's mashma from Masuras Hashaz. He's saying the Marshal said so also. Let's see. Let's see the Marshal. I don't see what you say. Where? Where? Marshal? Lamed Beis Amudal. Because has in the middle, has Lamed Beis, and in the middle has Daf Chavteis. I couldn't find it. I know. Daf Lamed Beis, I go with time kankani. Midi v'teis little goyisle v'cheni udivraran. Okay. But let's go through it. Let's follow the gears and then let's erase it. Let's go both ways. The Gemara says, well, according to you, kankanim shel goyim, if I have small jugs of goyim, which they use it for yain nesech, litzeru lemizban should be prohibited to sell. Maishno noidos, what's in between? What's the difference between leather bottles that you're not allowed to make mats out of it? A rug, a mat out of it. And Maishno Kankani, why Kankanim it's allowed? So it's the Gemara first of all assumes somewhere that we have information, preconceived information, that Kankanim are permitted, where Kankanim has been written. So if you turn over the mission of Chavtet Amud Beis, what? Adardurin. Because in the Mishnah also says Kankanim. Mishnah says, I don't know what is Dardurin. Rashi says Laginim. But I know definitely in the Mishnah says the word Kankanim. It says in the Mishnah, Daf Chavtet Amud Beis, Noidos Agoyim veKankaneim veYain Shel Yisrael Konus Beim Asurim v'Sirano Divrei Chachom Orim En Isur Mirano Kol Techachomim Kankanim is Mutar. Kol Techachomim Kankanim is also. Right? No. The Braisa speaks about Dardurin v'Rokavot.
But it said it's
one type of what type of kleches. But the Mishnah talks about the word kankanim, and the Mishnah Koiter Rabbi Meir is also Koiter Chachom is mutar. So he's asking, Ma'ishno kankanim that chachom permit, and why noidos is also. The only thing is, according to chachom of the Mishnah, that kankanim is permitted, also noidos are permitted. Because it says there noidos and kankanim. So where do we got this rule of kankanim? Unless like you saying that la durdorim or kavois, durdorim is noidos or leginim, small little chugs. Or kavois is made out of leather. As if I have leather cups, leather bottles, and jugs of clay. So that's kankanim. So the Mishnah says kankanim and leather bottles. Mutobano. Yes. She's asking, Maishno noidois. They cannot make rugs out of it. It says mutobano, but rugs I'm not allowed. Umashna kankanim. That is mutobano. Rugs not shaykh to make from clay rugs. So the question here in the Gemara is not clear as who's asking about. It's true, but what is he asking from? He says, well, let's go over the Gemara. At the time, according to you, that hold that Roitze Mekuma is also Kankanim Shegoim should be prohibited to sell. Kankanim going Litzrun and Mizban should be prohibited to sell. Ma'ishna Noidois Umashna Kankanim. Noidois means I'm using the benefit of the noidois to make mats, rugs out of it. So it's prohibited. And kankanim, if I use it not for wine inside, if I put inside the kankanim wine, if it's also ban. But to sell it, somehow the Gemara knows that you're allowed to sell. There's some source that you're allowed to sell. Because the whole machlokes Ramen Chachomim is to get benefit from the kankanim of wine. As the wine goes in, there's also mano. But to sell it, the Gemara assumes you're allowed. And we know you're allowed to sell. How do we know you're allowed to sell? We know somehow. Not to the right benefit, but to sell I'm allowed. Even though when I sell it, I know that the guy would use it to soak the wine. So I'm getting benefit. Of course, you would pay me more for it or not. So the goyim, the Maharsho, and the Ran seems to be they're not goyeset. Toisa is not goyeset. Because Toisa holds kankanim, I'm not allowed to sell. The same way I'm not to derive benefit from the wine, then from the barrels that gives taste of the wine. Oh, surely, I'm not to sell to a goy. The goy would use the wine. We use the kankanim and use the wine. So you can't say why you're allowed to sell. You're not allowed to sell. So you see from Toises, since Toises talks about that you're not allowed to sell, must be they didn't have a girs and a gemara about it. Otherwise, what's Toises' subject there? Permitted, not permitted. He brings the Mishnah. If you cannot derive from you're allowed or not allowed, or kvoshim, must be that Toises didn't have this girs. But anyhow, what's the Gemara's point? The Gemara says, according to this girsa, you asking me, you bring a raya that roitze b'kiyuma the dovorach. If I want the establishment of it through something else, as also that's not to make mats, rugs out of the noido shel goyim, out of the leather barrels of goyim. Why? Because I'm going to become the varacher. That's why it's also not allowed. So why can kanim shel goyim we allowed to sell? If I'm not allowed to use for other usages, surely I'm not to sell because the guy's going to use it for the wine. So I'm getting he's buying for me, he's paying me, or he's going to get the guy's going to get benefit out of it. So it should be also, and we know it's permitted. It's like hoitze b'kiyum under the varacher. So the Gemara didn't answer this question. The Gemara answers the first question. You that hold that hoitze b'kiyum was the varacher mutor, so why not to do shatichin, rugs? It's a the gzeira, maybe his leather bottle will be ripped. And he will take it and will sew it on top of his own leather bottle, and then the skin will release yainesech to his skin leather bottle. So the reason why not to make mats out of it, it's not because going to be kiyum al davar acher. Because there's a Isur Anos, a Gzeri is going to benefit from the wine of Yainesach directly. Then there's another Girsa here, which Toshes brings two Girsas. The Leman Doma, those two next lines, 3 lines, it's also Toshes brings down some people are goyre, some don't. The Leman Doma, Roitze Bekiyum al davar acher, also Maishno kan kanim the show. One who holds Roitze Bekiyum al davar acher is also why kan kanim is permitted. Some people don't have this gears in the Gemara. But let's go over our gears. What's the question? The question is, one who holds if I want the establishment through something like I have Cheres Adrayani, I have a clay of Adrayanus, which has wine inside. And I'm not using it for soaking wine. I'm using it to hold my bed, to lay my bed in it. So what's the difference between that I'm not allowed? I want the establishment through wanting the clay for my bed, and that's not allowed. So what's the difference between kankanim and I have barrels of wine, not barrels, I have jugs of wine, of goyim. I'm allowed to sell it. I bought empty jugs of goyim which has wine soaked in them, and I'm allowed to sell to another goy. I'm permitted. Why? I want the establishment of the wine through that I want to sell it. So I'm using the wine to sell. The Gemara answers, yes. Why can't Kanim I'm allowed to sell and Noid I'm not allowed to make mats out of it? Or not asking Noid. We're asking what's between Cheres and Kankanim. Cheres Adrayani, also, what's the difference between Cheres Adrayani? They're not allowed to lay the bed on. And Kankanim, I'm allowed to sell. Or he will answer you, Osam Leisili Surbein. There, what is there? By Cheres Adrayani, by Kankanim, I don't have the Isur Be'ein. Be'ein means that you can look of the eye, because in front of you. It's not Nika. It's not Be'ein. But here, by Cheres Adrayani, Isur Isur Be'ein, the Isur is there, Be'ein, you can see it. Why you can see it? It's swallowed in the clay, but it's made to take it out. Number one, it's made for that. Number two, has a lot of blia. It's very strong and a lot it is made for. So as if the Isur is Be'ein, the prohibition is Be'ein. So since the prohibition is Be'ein, I cannot want it for something else because as if I want it for that.
It is Be'ein. You started off with white jugs, and and right after you put the wine in, it turned red. Okay, it's not wine, but you see it. Mastama.
Again, according to the gears of our Gemara, the Gemara's kasha was, what's the difference between clay vessels, which soak with wine and allowed to sell to Goy, to a clay of Adrianus Kesa, which is special, that it's soaked with wine. I'm not allowed I'm not allowed to have any usage of it. Because if I do, it means I want to establish, I'm roitze bekiyum, I have the desire to be established, the wine of the Ainesach inside the Cheres Adriani. So the words that they've been the Cheres Adriani, I'm not to derive benefit from the clay to lay my bed and to sell kankanim soaked small little jugs of clay that is only soaked with not a special wine of a virgin land, etc. No, clay vessels which have soaked with wine of goyim, and the Jew bought the empty vessels. He wants to sell it back, resell it to another goy. See, allowed. Also, the roitze b'kiyumo of the soaked wine. I don't know what's the difference. That I'm allowed to sell those jugs. A Jew that bought empty jugs of goyim, which has swallowed yain nesach, he's allowed to resell it to another goy. And why Cheres Adriani I'm not allowed? The answer is, by a normal jugs that are soaked with yain nesach, laser isur be'ein, the issue is not be'ein, and it's not made to take out, and as if I don't see it. But okay, here by Adriani clay, isur isur be'ein, and this isur be'ein, and by itself, there's a sea isur in front of us. Since there's an isur provision in front of us, so as if I see the isus, and if I'm using the isu. Because there's a lot of wine has been soaked and it's made to take out. The Ramban even adds that if you take out the wine, the clay will crumble, would break, which means therefore I definitely sees the wine as if it's being exist. You heard of Rabbi Yeshua? Rabbi Yeshua. Yes. Again, repeat. By Cheres Adriani, the goal is take out the wine later on. They carry it for a long time and take out the yain later on. Arteries, no. By a jug. Swallowed inside. Okay. If the goal is the wine in the clay, the Chedaniani says, Be'ain. It's as if it's there, because it's made to take it out. That's what it's there. That's what it's made for. It's as if I have a clay that inside you have stored wine. The clay is just a vessel that stores wine. So I have stores, it's Be'ain. But by a clay jug, the wine is not stored there. It's there in reality, it's swallowed. The wine is buried there. It's not stored, it's buried there. As a dead wine. Is there? It's okay, so it may come out. Okay. There's a lot of svos that explain this Gemara.
But how do you know that the wine it's be'ain? Maybe it's something different. The water.
The Gemara defines, according to this Girsa of our Gemara, the way it's written by us. So Machloikas here, this Girsa right or not. But if the Girsa is right, the Gemara is saying right now that clay vessel of Adrianus, Isel Isur Be'ein. I perceive it, the Isur is Be'ein. The prohibition is in reality, in existence. The eye contact can see it. But clay jugs, the wine is not considered Be'ein. Osam Leis Isur Be'ein. So what's the difference? So there's a lot of explanations to explain the difference. Or because by Adrianus case there's a lot of wine and it's made to take out, or that's one svara, or there's a lot of wine that's made to take out, but there's more to that. If you take the wine out, the clay will crumble. So really, I don't see clay, I see wine. Those are two explanations. And the third explanation, that since it's one unit is made to take out, and it holds, it's made to take out, there's a lot of swallowing, and it is made to take out, is as that if I cannot separate between the clay and the wine, and I look at it as one, it's always there. So when I want A, I want B. When I want B, I want A. It's all there. It's always there. As one unit, ke'echod. I cannot separate. I cannot separate. So that's why I can see the Isubain. So there's three svaras here. One svara is there's so much swallowing, and it's made to take out, and by me taking it out, the clay will crumble. So really, I see the Isu. I'm really using the Isu. It's considered as if I'm using the Isu directly. That's one svara. Second svara is, we said, is not because, you know why Becheres Adrian is considered Be'ein? Because it's made to take out, and there's a lot of swallowing, and by me wanting it to use for something else means I want the establishment right now not to be taken out. So it's considered Be'eina. Why it's Be'ein? Well, it's a big humor because I want it right now to do something else. And it's Be'ein because there's a lot of swallowing and it's made to take out. But not because the clay will crumble if I take it out. Stop. Those two facts, that is a lot of biliois. There's arbe biliois, a lot of swallowing. And it's made to take out. It's like Be'ein. But normal clay vessels is not made to take out. And there's not a lot of biliois, it's not Be'ein. Not considered Be'ein. The third option is that in the definition, that a normal clay jug is not made to take out the wine. Therefore, I don't consider it as one unit. But by Cheres Adriani, since it's made to take out, so therefore I see it as one unit and I cannot separate it. So therefore I always see these. There's a big difference between the two svaras. The first svara was that since it's made to take out, so I see the Isu. So I'm using the Isu. Second, the third svara is I'm not really using the Isu. I'm using something which is attached, but since I cannot separate them, and it's important as one of the ingredients, so I'm using something which one of the ingredients is wine, and is made to exist. So therefore it's considered as if the Isu was Be'ein. That's a third svara. Like Chelek Echad. The other svara was since it's made to take out, so therefore as Isu was there. So the Isu is stored inside, so I'm using the Isu itself. A little bit different. And there's a difference as far as the kashas of the Samsoiva and the Kezakim, and those two, which means according to the third pshat, the problem is that I'm really benefiting. According to the first pshat, that otherwise the clay would crumble. So therefore I'm using the wine. When I use the clay to hold the bed, I'm using the wine. So I'm benefiting directly from the wine. According to the second svara is that since it's made to be separated, there's a lot of swallowing, it's made to be separated, therefore it's Be'ein, and I'm using it too. So those two svaras means I'm using the Yain Nesech. Or because the clay will crumble, or because it's made to take out. So these two Be'ein, I'm using it. The third svara is really I'm not using it, I'm using the clay. But since I cannot separate it, becomes one unit, as if I'm using it. A bit different. Okay. Yes. Why? Yes.
Problem is that when you have a kasha, it has to be a deeper one.
Right. Here's Balua and here's Balua. Both are Balua. Yes.
It's not physical. It's not the same.
And what was the answer? Good point. What's the answer? What's the answer? Yes. Good.
Because the second thing is the toughest to take out is not the loss of the Kabbalah. He surveyed, they survey, it's not here. It's not something you can see. They saw, it's not the loss of the Kabbalah, so that's what I want to see. And I want you to do what? The toughest to take out, Isa, it not doesn't fit. The loss of Isa, they survey. So that is also very hard. Very hard. So this also is very interesting. This is the things is far from this. So maybe I can accept that. I don't get such a hard for me to accept that. Maybe I have to say different answer as well. Different answer. Not this and that. And you say the meaning is equal because
But the Gemara answer is he is Be'ain, he's not Be'ain. It's the same thing, so why he is Be'ain, not Be'ain? Where?
By Kastanim, by Kishole. So maybe it's like it's not Isa there. It's not there. And I'm not sure. It's not there. It's not Isa there. There's no Isa. Because
By a broken clay.
It's there. It's broken. So because it's broken, so I have the thing broken. So I have here, I have a Khatija Isa. I have a Shtikal Isa. I have a Shtikal Isa. Here, vessel. That is Abu. I have a Shtikal Isa.
I hear. Good point. That's basically the third answer I gave. What's the third answer I gave? It's not more or less. Chashivus. There I see, although it's not. I'm not. The clay is not. It's not the wine. But it's chashivus as one unit, and I see it. And there it's not chashivus. Okay. That's basically the pshat in the third answer. Okay. There's a long toises here. Very complicated. We have to spend time, but the problem is we don't have enough time. We only have today. We have Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday. Monday's Erev Tisha B'Av. It's finished. So you only have 3 days. And this toys is just a toys itself can take you a week to figure out the toys as well. Okay? So we have to spend time. And the reason why I learned the Chassam Sofer yesterday is because of this problem. Yes, go ahead.
The problem is not the chefetz of the wine. It's the histamshus. It's the bloodstone for the thing, not the thing itself. That's the bloodstone, and then the bloodstone is the machshava, and a machshava is Hashem says machshava is verbal as well. It's a process. It's not the machshava. It's not the chefetz of the yayin.
I don't know what you're talking about. This yain was yain nesach by the kohen, and now it's inside the clay or inside the jugs. What's your point of machshava?
Not the heft of the wine is the problem. Is why it's usher. It's usher because he wants the thing.
Why is over isu? Because he wants, according to one pshat, said a couple of pshatim, or because he's using the isu because the clay will crumble. Means he's using the isu itself. That's one svara. Or because he wants it. The fact that he wants to use the clay to lay his bed means he wants right now not to do his mitzvah. Those are the two explanations we said yesterday. And the third explanation we said that there's just one unit and one chashiv because it's made to take out. So therefore, as if the isu is being. Why not a Maisa? I have Ches Adriani. Can I use it to lay to close a wall to lay my bed on it? So I'm using it's considered roitze b'kiyum or not. Now what is roitze b'kiyum? Because I'm using it. I'm using the wine itself. That's one svara like the Ramban, or because I'm mevatel my obligation to get rid of it, or I'm benefiting from the wine because the chashivus is made to take out. So it's one of the ingredients. It's considered I'm using the isur itself, not because it would crumble. There's two svaras. If I put my answers, I put two boxes. One box is the first and the third answer. And really, I'm using the isur. When I put the clay adrianus on my bed, to hold my bed, I'm using the isur. Why? Because otherwise it will crumble. Without the wine, it will crumble. That's one svara. Or not because without the wine, it will crumble. It's because since it's made to take out, and there's a lot of swallowing, it's a ingredient in it. It's made for that. So I cannot deny that it exists there, and as if I'm using the wine itself. As a chashivus, actually, isur be'ein, because it means I consider this chashivus as if I'm using isur, but not because otherwise the clay will crumble. Because it's one unit. It is made for that. It's an important because it's made to take out. There's a lot of swallowing, so therefore it's considered I'm using the isur. That's one group of answer. Those two answers. The other group of answer is no, very simple. Because when I want to use the clay to lay my bed, I'm basically saying that I don't want to do my mitzvah of destroying it, of Avitabenu. And that makes the Hashiva, that makes the Isur. Those are two groups. Three answers, two groups. What? Who says those words? One thing, and I'm using where? Who says that? Show me your word. Show me the words and where do you get those words from? Right. Even according to the Ramban, that if I take out the wine, the clay will crumble. You still need the rotzen of the person to consider this an issue. Because after all, it's not be'ein mamash. It's swallowed inside.
Thought we said it was Bane.
What?
Just before we said it was
You still
Bane.
need the rotzen. Still need
Is
the
it bad?
rotzen to make it us. So it's not a raya, what's pshat? Not a raya.
I thought we said it was Bane. The wine in the jug, it was Bane. I thought we just said it was Bane.
The Gemara says, "Oche isur isur bein." Here, the isur is bein. What does that mean, isur bein? What does that mean?
Means you can see it. You can see
You
it.
see the wine. You see
It was a white
clay.
jug. It was a white jug. Now it's not white anymore. You can see it. You drop a little water in it, the wine will flow out. You can see it.
You can't see. You need water. You need something else to do, but it's not right now. You don't see it.
Maybe.
Since a lot of swallowing, and I put water right, it will come out. So it's recognized, like those the Gemara wanted to make a dimion according to the Girsa. I'm talking about the Ramban. Ramban says that the clay is holding the leather. If there's wine inside, the leather has become hard, and it's recognized whether that will be soft or by clay. There's a lot of swine. Without it, the clay would crumble, and it supports it. by holding the bed, strengthening the clay. So then you can say it's Nikas, recognize it's the Ramban. Look at the Chidush Ramban. We have the Ramban here.
In the paper, in the papers.
In the papers, yes, in the paper.
What page? What page? Which Ramban?
Mideka is on the first page.
Okay.
Chidush Ramban, Masechet Avodah Zorah, Lamed Beis Amud Aleph.
Okay, got it.
Since the Gemara has a kasha from noidos is leather bottles of goyim. The man the shori one who permits the roitz b'kiyum shel chesed. If I want the establishment of the clay of Adrianus, and it's permitted, so why by noidos of goyim I'm not allowed to make mats, rugs. From the Gemara's kashi itself, Shaminol Mino, the Ramban says from the Gemara's Dimyon between Cheres Adriani and Noidois means bottles made out of skin leather. Shaminol Mino, we can infer from this the Mando Osa, one who prohibits Uadin le Noidos Kankani. The same thing is by not only Cheres Adriani, not only a clay of Adrianus, same thing is by leather bottles or jugs of clay. Again, since the Gemara has a kasha, what's the difference in noidois and Cheres Adriani? Must be that noidois in leather bottles and jugs of clay, even though it's not Cheres Adriani, even though it doesn't come from this virgin, still should be the same law. One who permit should permit both. One who prohibit became an ilchasa commandos, and since the halacha is like the opinion is also by Cheres Adriani, Shmamina, I can learn from this. Also, litin mine bekeleim. You're not allowed to put water in the goysha vessels, jugs or skin leather bottles. But lishtamish them and use them. I cannot use the water. I can use any other usage. Also, ma'ano. Klal at all. V'zuar choke esera. That's a very big distance. We never heard of it. So the Ramban has a problem. From the simple Gemara's kasha, from noidois of goyim, they're not allowed to make rugs out of it. To one who permits to lay a bed with Cheres Adriani, must be a demon between the two. It's an equation. If there's an equation that's similar, must be the one who prohibits by Cheres Adriani will prohibit also by noidois of goyim and clay of goyim, of kankani. But that's not possible. He says it's too big of a distance that I'm allowed to use kankanim of goyim or noidos of goyim to use for any other usage. With water or use them at all. You cannot make mats, means I cannot use at all, any usage. Vezuar choki yeser is too big, it's too much superfluous added distance from Avodah Zarah is too much. Avol, he says, but b'miktsas nuschoes and some manuscripts, I found the format, Motzosi I found, Ke'ein Pirushel Shel Rishonim. I found like what the Rishonim learned from the Sugya. That yes, Kankanim of Goyim, in Noidos of Goyim, I cannot use it at all. Not only Cheres Adriani. V'leman de'oma, one who holds, roitze b'kiyum adedovaracher. If I want the establishment of the clay of Adrianus for something else, to lay my bed, also is not allowed. There was a girs in the Gemara, ma'ishno kankan in the Shomar, know why? Jugs of goyim, I'm allowed to sell it and I'm allowed to have benefit from it. So the Gemara answers, Omar lecho, will answer, awesome they by kankanim, leik yisur bein, there's no yisur bein. Over here by clay of Adrianus, pottery, there is Isur Bein, the Isur is there, exists. Umashma Ma'ilishim, we can infer from this language of this gifts of the Rishonim, of the Nusach, of those Rishonim. The man de Osa, one who prohibits, Lo Yosar ele Becheres Hadriani. He didn't prohibit only with clay of Adrianus. Why? The Kayan Gufayu, it's like the wine itself. The Isur Isur Beina, I look at it as if the Isur is an existing vein. The Isur is Bein, existing. But only any other vessels shall goyim of goyim loy. What? Like Kankanim is no Isur. So according to this Girsa, La'aloche, that Roitzigul Davarache also, Kankanim are permitted, because only Cheres Hadrayani, I see the Isur Bein, as if the wine itself exists. But by a normal vessel jugs, although there has swallowing of Yain Eser, but I don't see it as if the Isur is Bein. So he says, V'chen Nikal. This Girsa is the main Girsa. The law, if not so, Lishmin and Rebuse. Let our Gemara teach us a bigger Chiddush. B'sh'ar kelim, not only by Cheres Hadrayani, can I lay my bed on it, and it's also. Even any other vessels, I'm not allowed to lay my bed. Must be that any other jugs I'm allowed to sell, I'm allowed to lay my bed, because not considered Isur Bein. But now he has a problem. What was the dimyoin between mats from skin of bottles of skin that you're not allowed to make a mat out of it? We had a kasha to one who permits Becheres Hadriani that he holds Roitze B'Kiyum El Dedovar is permitted. So the Gemara has a kasha, why by noidois, why by bottles of skin I'm not allowed to make mats of it, means I cannot use it for anything else, even as Roitze B'Kiyum El Dedovar is also. And you holds by Becheres Hadriani, his own opinion holds muto. But we see from the dinyo, it must be that they're similar. The one who's oiseh also there. We just said in the end, that's only Cheres Hadriani, that's the Isur Bein. But noidos, the Isur is not Bein, should be mutos, so what's the most dimyon? So he gives an answer. Comes the Ramban and he gives an answer. And he says, when the Gemara had a kasha from noidos of goyim, b'derech kal v'choymer akshinon. The Gemara asked in the way of a kal v'choymer. It's really they're not doime, they're not similar, because Cheres Hadrayani, the wine is bein, and noidos the wine is not bein. But we have a kasha kal v'choymer. Kloimer bishleimer. He says it makes sense. Lemando Omar, or you could answer Lemando Osa. One who holds that is also by Cheres Hadrayani. Roitze B'Kiyum Dovar by Cheres Hadrayani is also. He says he can answer himself why also leather bottles not allowed to make mats. The lav davka becheres. Here's not particularly this is a possibility. Although Cheres Hadrayani is mamish bein, and skin bottles is not bein, but you could say still it's the same. That they're both also not only mamash bein is also. Even now, mamash bein is less bein, is too also. But Elaman, but one who holds the shori, one who holds that even mamash bein is permitted, even Cheres Hadrayani is permitted, surely by lower should be permitted. And yet you don't have to make mats of it, kasha. But not really the Gemara holds as a timyon. And therefore you would learn that Laman is also clay also. We only asked if skin leather is also, if you're not allowed by, one who holds Cheres Hadrayani also can explain why he cannot, he can explain maybe why even less is also. But one who holds even higher is also, even higher is muto, even Cheres Hadrayani is muto, how can he explain lower level of noidois, of leather bottles that it's prohibited if even Cheres Hadrayani, which is mamish be'ein, is permitted, surely skin leather bottles should be permitted. And yet it's also. That's the kasha. But really, there's no really dimion. Many places in our Gemara, the Yochel Ameima Valetaimi could have said, according to you, the Ditcha, according to you, Minich, according to you, what is comfortable. But Omar, the Gemara didn't say so. Means even according to one who's also, it's not a simple answer. It's possible to answer. But even there, it's not simple. So the Gemara could have said that, but the Gemara didn't say it. But really, the kasha is in a kalvachoimek way. Upori Krov and other answers. Lekul Almo, sometime in my according to everyone, you know why you're not allowed by mats. Even one who holds as also by Cheres Adrayani, because it's Be'ain. Why there's also, and surely one who permits Cheres Adrayani. Why there's also time in my Mishum Shema Iboka Noidoi, then because maybe his nod, the skin will crack, his own skin will crack. The Kohen say over, yes. Yeah, the Cheres is different, really is permitted. Cheres is permitted. One who oisel maybe will permit there. But why? By Noid is also, not because lower level is also too. There's an even story there. There maybe is the mat is not will crack, and use the mat to sew it and wine and taste of wine of the Ines will come to his wine. And nothing to do with Hoitze B'Kiyum story. The Komle Tirutz of the Rava, the Tirutz of Rava is established. La Locha. So according to this, what do we got? What do we got? We got here Ramban. Ramban holds that was that only Cheres Hadrayani is Hoitze B'Kiyum al Devarach Hazor because it's Isur Be'ein. Less than that is permitted. Less than that's permitted. So why the amount of kasha from noidois from skin to Cheres Adriani? We asked in the Kalvachoymer way. One who holds Cheres Adriani is also, he could have said also even lower is also even by leather. But one who holds even Cheres Adriani, which is like Be'ein is mutar, so Vada he should be permitted by skin leather bottle, and why that's also that's the most cash.
Very good, very good.
But really, only Cheres Adrian is also nothing less. And there, everyone holds us also by noises because as a xera, I might sew it to my noise that is cracked, and the taste of the wine will go into the Jewish wine. So that I'm using these or mevatel my chiyuv, etc. Inami, second answer. Leshatichin keman deise leisure bein adomi. He says, when I take leather bottles, there it's like Cheres Adriani. That the issue is bein, I can recognize the prohibition. Why? The skin gets hard. If you have wine a long time in those skin bottles, the skin becomes very hard. And it helps for mats. Then nikoru, it's recognized that the wine made it hard. So the wine helps for the mats to make the mats hard. So it's recognized when I use the mats, I'm using the wine. The dumyo de Cheres Adriani is very similar to Cheres Adrianus. Why? Sheplias hayayin gdoila. The swallow is very big. Shepo mesayas besmiras kara mita shaloi. The wine fulfills the holes inside the clay and the holes the bed, which means if I extract the wine, the cheres will crumble. So it's helping. So really, the demon both are the same. Cheres Adriani is Isur Be'ein, and Noidos Be'ein. Kankanim is not. Jugs is not. But skin is like Cheres Adriani, because by having the wine a long time in the skin, it makes it hard, and it helps the mat to have a hard mat. So it helps us. I'm using the Isur itself. But what about Ilkach Noidos Agoyim Kankanim? But normal skin bottles in the clay jugs, they're not really prohibited by no. Why? Let's say I want to put fruits in there, I'm allowed. Only mats, so I'm using the wine to make it strong. But if I'm not using the wine that makes it strong for my usage, I'm putting there, who knows, potatoes, who knows what I'm putting, other things, I'm using it. So not also this makes the opinion of the Rif very simple. The Rif erased this entire page. Since Keretz Adrian is not common, and mats, and the only thing which is like Keretz Adrian is to use the skin bottles for mats, which is hard. But anything else, which is not, or less than its own just kamkanim, or noidus are not used for mats. According to the first answer, even noidus for mats is not, it's a derech kal v'chomer, really, it should be permitted, because the Easter is not be'ain, and that's why this Gemara is erased. It's not brought out. Since Chezan is not common, so it's not also. So the Ramban is of the opinion that this Gemara is only for Keres Adrayani, which the Easter is be'ain, or anything similar that the Easter is be'ain. Only shatichi. But anything else, any jug or any vessel that has swallowed wine inside, is not an Easter at all, Bano. You cannot derive benefit from the taste, but to use other things, to lay a bed, to put fruits inside, all that, is not also Bano. It's not considered Roitze Bikim Devaracha because the Easter is not be'ain. I'm Roitze Bikim of what? I want the establishment of what? Of Easter, there's no Easter. Doesn't exist, not be'ain. Only Adriani, I'm Roitze Bikim because it's be'ain. So it's considered Roitze Bikim. What? Shatira means mats, rugs. Yes, that's what seems to be, yes. Roitze Bikim of Easter be'ain. And Roitze Bikim Easter not be'ain, it's no Easter, it's no Easter. No, it's not there. It's not be'ain. So let's go through the opinions. But the only issue is I'm using the issue. Why am I not allowed to put fruits in there? Why am I to do mats? Why am I to use the clay, the Cheres Adriani to hold the bed? Because the wine inside is using to hold the bed. The wine inside the skin is making it hard for mats. So there I'm using the wine. It's the green that makes I'm using the wine. With another things, with there's another material inside. It's the clay, it's the skin, it's the leather, but it doesn't matter. But it's part of the ingredients of your usage. You're using it. You know, that's the Ramban Svara. It's not the Rashi Svara. We will, since I have a mitzvah to destroy it, by me using something else, I'm not doing my mitzvah to destroy it, means I want it. It's different Svara, those Svaras. Here's the Svara it is that I'm using these for itself. According to that, only Cheres Adayanus with Yusuf Behen is also, but only Shtichin. According to second, so Shtichin, kosher first, and only Cheres Adayanus, only that is also because Yusuf Behen. But any other jugs that swallowed with wine, I'm allowed to use with any other usage. It's not considered because the Yusuf is not Behen. So I'm not using Yusuf.
Right, the leather is absorbing.
Yusuf Behen.
But the leather absorbs.
What?
The leather absorbs
no,
the thing.
If I took out if I put water, and the water now gets the taste of the wine, so now this water, Yisu's Bein, I'm allowed to drink that water because it has Yain Nesek inside. But when I'm not using water, I use it to hold the bed. I to put fruits there, dried food. So so because I'm using it, say also because the wine inside is no, I should permit to use other things? No. Because there's no connection. But if it's almost like be'ain, because it makes it hard, because it holds it up not to crumble, okay, so that's like consider be'ain.
So you use it only for Yavesh. You use it only for Yavesh,
yes, but it's like seeing it.
And
making it hard, just like I see it as nikah, as recognized. It's not seen, but it's recognized.
And why not for the
We got two guys here. We're not
Yeah.
good.
3.
Yeah.
I don't know. Reb Shmuel went.
Bye. Ciao. See you tomorrow. Coming in tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
Hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
Good tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
What are you saying? I don't hear. What are you saying, Chaim? Two options. There's two different ways how to learn. Wanting the Isu or using the Isu. It's two different opinions here. How do you learn the Gemara? So the Ramban is learning using the Isu as if I'm using an Isu, and the other opinions is like wanting the Isu. Okay. I according to the police is where Bible is not doing woman. Thank you, sweet. I don't know. שמי לקוד השברי, אין לנו חם מצב לשמוסו לכם הספדה מירון בו רומא, ישראל ועל רבנון ועל תלמידיון ועל תלמידיון ועל כל מן דוסקי מאורייס וזה כדי שועדי, כל עשר ועשר, יהיה לנו כל שומרה